Hi guys, so we're about to learn how to calculate time of death using a blowfly life cycle chart. Basically, just so we are all aware, if it's been longer than 72 hours since a person has been deceased, then the previous methods that we've been looking at how to tell when a person died no longer work. So like using algor mortis, like taking the person's temperature and using that formula only works for the first day or two, and then the body's already cooled down or heated up to the temperature around it, so we can't use it anymore. Same thing with rigor mortis, it peaks, so the body stiffens and then unstiffens, so that would have already happened past 72 hours. And livor mortis has that purple discoloration wherever the blood is settling, but that also becomes permanent. So then after it's happened, you don't know how long ago it happened because that coloring is permanent. So if it is anywhere past about 2 days or any longer, we have to start using other methods, and the main one is insects. And the most common insect, or the first insect that tends to find a body first, is a blowfly. So we're going to focus on the blowfly. All right, so here's the blowfly life cycle chart. Here we go. So basically how a blowfly's life cycle goes is it's an egg, and then it opens up from an egg and is a little larva, or what we call a maggot. And that maggot is gonna grow 3 times. So instar 1, 2, and 3. How it grows is it has to molt and actually shed its skin, kind of like a snake. And then after it's reached its 3rd stage of instar, it goes into a pupa, which is kind of the same as like a butterfly going into a chrysalis. And inside that pupa, it's going to metamorphosis, it's going through that change, and it'll become an adult fly again, and the whole process starts over. So just in case you had never really known, if you've never really seen maggots up close, they're actually pretty small. So this is the size of an egg. So here's my little fingernail. The egg is about the size of it's actually smaller than a piece of rice. So kind of like half a piece of rice is the size of the egg. They're really tiny, just little white dots kind of. And then for the instar stage, so then it hatches, and this is its first larva stage, and it is about the size of a piece of rice. So like if you've ever seen white rice, like that's about the size that they hatch into at first, and it'll grow and be about like two pieces of rice put together, and then even bigger, so kind of like 2 to 3 pieces of rice long, if I'm just trying to give you all some size recognition there. So after that, they go into their pupa and become an adult fly. Okay, so if we find a dead body, we'll take the oldest bug on the scene, because that means that it's been there the longest. So if there are no beetles, wasps, all that kind of stuff, then we're gonna look at the maggots that are on the scene, because they're the newest, freshest things there. And then we're gonna take the oldest maggot we can find, because flies will come and continually lay their eggs. They won't just do it like that first day and then never come back again. Flies will keep finding the dead body day after day after day and lay more and more and more eggs. So you'll have lots of stages of maggots on a body at a given time if it's been a long enough time. So you want to find the oldest one. So let's say that on a body we see maggots this size and we see maggots this size. Well, we're not going to care about the little ones because that means that they're like fresher, they just hatched. These ones have been on the body for a while, which means the body had to have been dead long enough for them to get to this age. So they're the ones that we care about. They're the ones that show us more clearly how long the person has been deceased. So I'm going to show you some practice problems on how to use it. Here we go. Got a little bit of a glare, turn it, there we go. So maggots found in instar 1 stage, so they're found in their smallest stage, and they're only found in the mouth and the nose. If that is true, what that tells us from the chart for instar 1 is that the person had to have been dead for at least 24 hours, up to 27 hours, to find that size of maggot on the body. So if that's the only maggot you find, that's the only size, then the person had to have been dead at least 24 hours, because that's how long it takes for the egg to hatch into that size larva, and they stay that size up to 27 hours. So we're in like the day after a person has deceased if you're finding that size maggot. And if you're only finding them in the mouth and the nose, what that tells me is there's no other open wounds on the body for flies to lay eggs in, so they had to lay it in the mouth and the nose. Because again, maggots don't have like teeth. They can't actually eat through flesh or anything like that, so they have to be put inside the gooey, gushy orifices of the body, or they wouldn't be able to actually eat it. So they have to be laid in our mouth and our nose, or if there are wounds, so like holes into our body, they'll be laid there as well. So If, little different scenario, if eggs are found on a body, so only eggs, no maggots, you just find eggs, and they're found in the chest in 2 spots. So you're finding 2 like little pockets on the chest with eggs in them and in the eyes and the nose. What that would tell me is that for the egg, well, flies can find it within an hour. So the eggs can find, I mean, the flies can find it really fast and lay eggs, but they're not going to hatch for 23 hours. So it's going to be in that the person couldn't have been dead more than a day, unless, well, there are some other circumstances, but on average, they couldn't have been dead for more than a day because that's how long it takes for an egg to hatch. So we're in that 1 to 23 hours since the person has died. But if they're in their chest, that means that they had to have had wounds in their chest, or a fly wouldn't have laid eggs there, because flies know that the maggots wouldn't have been able to find food easily. So if they're laying them in the chest, then it's probably telling you a possible way that person died, because they had to have had wounds there for the fly to lay the eggs there. All right, so you'll have this chart and you'll use it to answer your couple questions.